Tonight I would like to talk about my painting Tomorrow Started, which is almost at the end. I still have to go back once on it, but then it will be over, without talking about the varnish, because for me the varnish it's not some painting work for me, and also the underneath of the painting, because I always paint the edges. So at the end I always have to put my painting upside down to paint the bottom edge, so it's painted everywhere. But basically I still have to go back once. I will show you at the end of the video what I did on my painting, so if you can stick until the end if you want to see the progress of my painting. What I wanted to talk about is that I didn't do it as the same way as usually. Usually I film myself painting. I decided that I was not going to film myself painting because I realized that it prevents me from being focused on what I'm doing. So I have a lot of difficulties to be focused on what I'm doing, and in the same time checking on the camera, be sure that you are seeing exactly the right angle, and be sure that the battery is not over, that I still have some memory on my camera. It's very difficult to do the both. It's like if I know that I'm alone, but it's like if I had someone watching me while I'm painting, and it's very difficult to focus. It's very difficult to focus when you have someone watching you. So when I make some craft, it's not a problem for me because I'm used to give craft lessons in front of people, and you don't need the same focus as when you paint on canvas, an oil painting, at least for me. I don't know for other people, but for me it's like that. Especially I had something very important to paint. It's the couple dancing. It was very important for me and also difficult because in my mind the man is Hollis. So I don't know if you saw my previous video about this painting. If it's not the case, I will put the link below about the subject of this painting. Otherwise you are going to understand nothing, but I'm going to try to explain a little. Basically, Tomorrow Started is the name of a song by Tok Tok, but written by Hollis alone. This song is a song that I was listening a lot to in the 80s. Well, I was listening to the whole album, It's My Life, but Tomorrow Started is very special to me because it has a kind of theatrical, dramatic effect on me, which reminds me the Palace. And the Palace used to be a nightclub where I was going in the 80s. And you are going to tell me what is interesting in a nightclub where we go when we are young. The Palace in itself is not especially interesting, except that I met my ex-husband thanks to the Palace. So the Palace was not for me only the place where I used to go to have fun. It's also the place where I met my brother-in-law, my ex-brother-in-law, and then I met my ex-husband. The Palace is very related to my marriage, which ended. I'm not married anymore, I'm divorced. Maybe I would have to go back to why I'm painting about Tok Tok. That is the subject of another video that I made at the very beginning of my channel, where I explain why I'm painting about Tok Tok and Hollis. Anyway, I'm not going to re-explain everything. I will put the link below to the other video as well. Just to tell you that Tomorrow Started, as It's My Life album, was an album that I was listening to on my Walkman all the time in the 80s, so about 30 years ago. When I was going to the Palace, I was hearing all the music of that period, so there was some Tok Tok, but not so much. I was rather hearing Brian Ferry, Roxy Music, Simple Minds, many others. I'm not going to make the list of all, I don't know, Earth, Wind and Fire, or even Grace Jones with La Vie en Rose, all these things, which reminds me the Palace. So when I was going out of the Palace, after a night dancing with friends, I was putting my Walkman on my ears, and it was Tuk Tuk that I was listening to. So I associate Tuk Tuk to the Palace too, because it was the music I was listening to as soon as I was out of the nightclub, searching for my car and going back home, and anyway I was listening to them all the time. But Tomorrow Started has an image in my mind which reminds me the Palace, because the Palace was an old theater, and in Tomorrow Started I see a theater, hence my painting with the red curtains. Anyway, all that to say that as I don't have a lot of time to paint in music on this painting, because it's almost done now, so I won't have a lot of opportunities to paint on it anymore. The other day I wanted first to paint without filming myself, so being alone, then second by playing some music which reminded me the Palace, to see if it was fitting with my painting. So I started, of course, with Tomorrow Started, and actually the whole album, It's My Life, and Tomorrow is absolutely perfect for this painting because it represents this song. So anyway, of course, it fits together. My painting is what I see for this song. Now I wanted to try, I listened to Bryan Ferry too, because for me Bryan Ferry is completely the Palace. Why? Because he was coming very often to the Palace, so I completely associate Bryan Ferry and the Palace. And anyway, we were hearing a lot Roxy music in the Palace. And then I wanted to play Simple Minds, because Simple Minds was played in the Palace all the time. It happens that I have an album, this album right now, because otherwise I have cassettes, I have things like that, so I can play them, but this one I have it as a CD, so I played that. It was fitting well, because it reminds me the Palace, and my painting is also about the Palace, so of course it was okay. But I was fighting on the face of the man, and at the beginning I had some difficulties to paint it because it's very small, so you can't really put a lot of details. It's very difficult to make a portrait on a very small scale. But I absolutely wanted the man to look like Mark Hollis. Actually, I wanted to represent him first as he is now, I mean older, but I ended up representing him younger. I don't know how I did that, because I was looking at a portrait, a picture of him older, and I ended up painting him young. And then I thought, after all, Tomorrow Started has been written when he was still very young, so maybe I should keep him like that. But at the beginning I was fighting on the portrait, I had some difficulties, I was listening to this album in the same time, and at a point I managed to get exactly the image that I wanted. So I could be a little more relaxed. I started really appreciating painting without being worried that my portrait won't be perfect, because the portrait was there. It was just there in front of me, and I got exactly what I wanted. And suddenly this song started. I started listening to that by painting, and the movement of the rhythm of the music, me painting with this portrait just in front of me, and I was working on the dress of the woman who is in front of the man, and with the music and being very focused, but really deeply focused, I started having the feeling that I was actually dancing with the man. And I was completely in my work, completely immersed, completely in my work. But in the same time very relaxed, because the difficulty was over. I was just painting for the pleasure. And I really had the feeling to be dancing. And the time passed like that, I remember it was this song, you know why? Because I was thinking just before my trance state, I was thinking that Jim Kerr was singing a little like Charlebois. I don't know if you know Charlebois. He's a Canadian singer who is very famous in France. Charlebois was singing in the 70s, 80s, chiefly 70s. I think I remember him in the 70s. Anyway, Charlebois has a way of singing which is very close to Jim Kerr in that particular song. And I was thinking, oh, that's funny, he sings a little like Charlebois, and at the end of the song he's almost singing like Catherine Ringer in the Rita Mitsuko, with a man voice, of course. And I was in my painting and in this consideration, and suddenly, I don't know what happened. I don't know. I was somewhere else. There, but somewhere else in the same time. And it's not the first time that it happens to me. I made a long time ago a painting named Strange Days about a song of the Doors. And this painting had a little the shape. I will put a picture here. This painting has a little the shape of a door, actually, and I was so focused in my painting that at a point the phone rang while I was painting, and I had the feeling to be inside my painting, and I was like, how I'm going to get out of the painting to go to answer the phone. I know that it sounds crazy. I was not under influence. I don't smoke, I don't make drugs, I don't drink, I don't anything. It's just that when you are really focused in something, that's what I discovered after, because with what happened to me the other day while I was painting that, I thought that I should try to understand what happened to me. And I found actually a video on YouTube where an English woman was explaining that when you are in a certain form of trance, you can be so absorbed in what you are doing that you have a lot of difficulties to go back to the real world and to get out of your trance. You are not going to believe it, but 4 hours later, when my son and his girlfriend went back home, the fact that they arrived, it kind of awoke me, and I looked at the time and it was 4 hours later. 4 hours painting and being in another world. It has been a long time since it didn't happen to me. And I think that I needed that, and I really think that I couldn't reach that by filming in the same time. So now I'm going to finish this painting. There are a few things which need to be corrected. Weirdly, I have a lot of difficulties on the ropes. I don't know if you managed to see. I will show you. There are ropes. Usually I never have difficulties to paint these ropes. I think it's maybe because they are so small, it's very difficult to do the details on them. but basically I must correct also the dress at the bottom. There is something that I must rectify, not rectify, finish more exactly. There is Brian Ferry, I must also rectify his mouth. And I painted the bird. I think the bird is okay. I think I must maybe add a little gold in the lettering, and maybe a little more pale yellow in the star at the top. But basically the painting is done. Oh, I must not forget to sign to sign it. It will be my third painting about Tok Tok and Hollis, and I already know what I'm going to do next. I'm impatient actually to start. It's going to be very whimsical and very related to the... I don't know what I have tonight, I forget all my words. Archetype. How we say archetype? Yes, archetype, archetype. I don't know how we say in English. I will write it here. I'm not going to say, you will see. You will see. Actually, this painting is much darker than I thought. This painting is really dark. It represents the end of something, the beginning of something else. It represents the end of my marriage and the beginning of a new life for me. And I must not look back. It's the lyrics of the song. I absolutely love these lyrics, especially this sentence. There is another sentence which has a lot of importance for me. It's, with time you'll endlessly arrive. Unfortunately, it's the case for everybody, but it reminds me something that my ex-husband told me when he left. He told me that I was expired, and that is something that I will never forget, because first, I don't know how someone can be expired. I think we are maybe expired for somebody and not for somebody else. And secondly, I decided that I will never be expired. It doesn't mean that I'm not going to die one day, but I won't be expired. I will be dead, that's all. Well, it's not very funny what I'm saying right now. Anyway, I also discovered something about the little people at the bottom, but I will explain that in the next video because it has an important meaning. The Pulp Fiction scene has actually a very important meaning in my painting, and I didn't realize that until the last time I painted on it. Suddenly, bingo! I understood what I wanted to mean. One last thing. You know this album, by Simple Minds, I know it really well. I listened to it in the 80s, I'm listening to it now. I know all the songs by heart. Not the lyrics, but I mean the melodies, everything very well. But one thing that I don't know in this album are first the lyrics, second sometimes the title. I don't know why I don't manage to remember the titles. So once this thing happened to me the other day, I wanted to check what was the name of this specific song which made me dance with Hollis by painting, and the name is The Big Sleep. The Big Sleep, you know what it is. I don't think that they are talking about the film, and it's really weird because Tomorrow Started is about the obsolescence of life, and this song specifically, it's about the big sleep. So I think that really my painting fits with these two songs. Why? Because my painting is dark and the songs are dark, and they all represent the same thing, except that for Tomorrow Started, it's, yes, the end of something, but the beginning of something else. So there is a little more a positive note, as in my painting. In my painting there are stairs. Stairs represent subconscious when in a dream, when you dream of climbing stairs, it means that you are trying to reach the meaning of you have in your subconscious. That's what I've been told. I'm not a specialist of dreams, but the fact of climbing stairs, for me, it has a positive meaning. It means you try to go a little higher. I think it's exactly what I do by listening to talk music. I try to go higher in the quality of music and of art, and in my life too. Okay, I'm going to stop now because my video starts being a little complicated, and I think that I'm going to bore you with my dreams and my craziness. But anyway, if you have any question related to this painting and any technical question, feel free to ask, and please give me a thumb up if you like this video. Then I will know that you are interested in what I'm saying, which can help. And you can also subscribe if you want more of that craziness. Okay, I see you very soon. Bye bye, and I will put a few images of my painting as it is now. Okay, bye bye.